Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. They say money follows the mind, but that's a lie, because money doesn't follow the mind. It follows the belief behind the mind. And most people never become rich, not because they lack strategy or time or luck, but because they never dare to think like a millionaire before they become one. You think it starts with the money? You think wealth arrives like a guest and then invites your mindset to change? No. Wealth is the final echo, the last ripple, of a decision forged in the silence of your own thinking. Before the first dollar arrives, before the world claps for you, before the dream takes form, you must already be the kind of person it would flow to. That's what Napoleon Hill saw so clearly, in the smoky halls of the industrial giants, in the obsessions of Ford, the tenacity of Edison, the fire in Carnegie's eyes. He uncovered the common denominator. Not money, not inheritance, not luck. It was thought, disciplined, directed, deliberate thought charged with faith, thought shaped like steel, thought that obeys no circumstance. So if you are tired of waiting, if you are done sitting on the sidelines of your own life, then understand this. Millionaires do not become rich. They are rich in how they think, how they wake, how they speak, long before a single zero hits their bank account. This is not about arrogance. It's not about faking it or flexing for approval. This is about identity. And identity is destiny. You see, everything begins in the mind. Your thoughts are blueprints. They're not passive. They're instructions to the universe. You can build a prison with your thoughts, or you can build an empire. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before creating the light bulb, not because he was addicted to failure, but because he was loyal to vision. Where the average mind says, I can't, the millionaire mind says, there's a way, and I will find it or create it. The average person sees obstacles as stop signs, but the millionaire sees them as detours, proof that you are still on the road. You will never attract what you are not prepared to hold, and you will never hold what your mind has not already accepted as yours. The poor mind asks, can I afford this? The wealthy mind asks, how can I create the value to make this mine? One waits, the other moves. One reacts, the other designs. So let's talk about belief, because belief is the engine, the starting pistol, the invisible contract between you and the future you're building. Andrew Carnegie, the Steel King, had no money when he started, but he had a belief that could bend mountains. He didn't need applause. He didn't need confirmation, because he understood something. The world is slow to reward those who wait for permission, but it bends for those who walk like it already belongs to them. This belief, this invisible fire, must be nurtured like a sacred flame, and the first enemy it meets will not be your competitors. It will be your own self-doubt. You must fight that voice every day. When it whispers, who do you think you are? You answer, I am the future millionaire, preparing his mind for what is already on the way. This is not fantasy. It's alignment, clarity. Millionaire thinking is never vague. It doesn't daydream and hope things land. It is specific, surgical. What do you want? Not in 10 years. Not when it's convenient. Now, define it. Name the number. Name the lifestyle. Name the contribution. Do not say, I want to be rich. Say, I will generate $10 million in lifetime income by delivering this exact value to the world. The universe does not respond to fog. It responds to targets. Walt Disney saw Disneyland in his mind long before anyone else did. He walked through orange groves and saw rides, where others saw land. He saw legacy. Clarity is power, and power is what gives shape to thought. Now that you believe, now that you see it, what do you do when the dream seems far? You discipline the mind like a soldier. You do not indulge distraction. You do not entertain cheap dopamine. You do not scroll when you should be building. Because every time you indulge in things that shrink your focus, you're telling your subconscious, I am not serious about the life I say I want. Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. Ford did not build an assembly line by chance. He built it because he refused to accept inefficiency as permanent. And you must build an assembly line in your mind. Repetition, routine, resolve. When you wake, you prime your mind. You speak life into your goals. You remind your body who is in charge. Discipline is identity made visible. You're not just working toward wealth. You're rehearsing who you already are. And every action, every workout, every hard conversation, every early morning is another piece of armor around your millionaire mind. Let's talk vision. Because what you can't see, you can't become. Vision is not a one-time thing you write in a journal and forget. It is a lens, a filter, a fire. You carry it into I must, not someday, not if everything aligns. But now, the mind of a millionaire doesn't wait for proof. It creates proof. It moves forward while others hesitate. It invests while others save. It builds while others scroll. This isn't recklessness. It's clarity. Because the moment you declare who you are and live in harmony with that decision, the world begins to adjust. Not all at once, not without resistance, but like a tide pulled by a gravitational force, your thoughts bend the course of events toward you. Understand this. Millionaires don't chase money. They attract it. And attraction begins with intention. Look at Carnegie. He didn't climb out of poverty with luck. He climbed with vision. He saw himself as a titan long before he forged steel empires. He walked the earth with the posture of someone the future would have no choice but to respect. That's what you must cultivate, the internal posture of destiny. Let the world mock you. Let them laugh. They laughed at Walt Disney when he drew a mouse and called it magic. They laughed at Elon Musk when he said he'd colonize space. But they weren't laughing when he launched rockets through the stratosphere, because the world always laughs before it applauds. So you must think differently. You must speak differently. You must move differently. The millionaire mind is not preoccupied with opinions. It's anchored in truth. The kind of truth that comes from listening to your own convictions louder than the crowd. If you want to be rich, then think richly, speak richly, act richly. Not in extravagance, but in excellence. Excellence is the language of millionaires. It's in how they do the little things, how they answer emails, how they keep promises, how they dress, how they carry themselves in empty rooms. They do not wait to be paid to be great. They're great first, and then the world catches up. That's the essence of this philosophy. You go first, the world follows. But to go first, you must conquer the battlefield where wealth is won or lost, your belief system. Most people don't fail because of the economy. They fail because of an inner voice whispering, "You're not enough." Let's destroy that voice right now. You were not born average. You were not born to blend in. There is no coincidence in your fire, your hunger, your discomfort with mediocrity. That is the call of divine potential, and the only thing standing between you and the life you were built for is whether or not you believe you're worthy of it. Because you will never rise above what you think you deserve. The millionaire mind doesn't beg life for scraps. It doesn't hope for favors. It demands results, not from others, but from itself. If you are still waiting for someone to pick you, to tell you it's time to open the door, you're not thinking like a millionaire yet. Millionaires build the door. They knock on walls until they fall. They stop asking for permission and start walking in conviction. And here's the truth. Nobody wants to admit. The money shows up after you start thinking like you already have it. Why? Because the universe doesn't reward need. It rewards alignment. When your thoughts, your actions, your values, and your decisions line up, wealth doesn't need to be forced. It flows, not always easily, not always instantly, but undeniably. And that's where clarity comes in. You cannot become a millionaire with a foggy soul. You must know what you want. Vague desires produce vague results. I want to be rich means nothing. What does it look like? How much? By when? Doing what? Serving who? The mind, like a compass, only works when it has a fixed destination. Clarity is power. Clarity is currency. Napoleon Hill taught this in every chapter of Think and Grow Rich. Burning desire, definiteness of purpose. These were not poetic phrases. They were the architecture of fortune. Millionaires don't just want money. They want meaning. They want a legacy. They want to express a vision so clearly that the world can't help but believe it too. So ask yourself right now, what are you really building? Because if it's only for status, it won't last. If it's only for stuff, you'll feel empty. But if it's for something bigger, to lift your family, to leave a mark, to fulfill your design, then your mind becomes unstoppable. And once your mind is unstoppable, everything else is just a matter of time. Time. The one currency millionaires understand deeper than money, because money lost can be regained, but time, once spent, never returns. And that's why the millionaire mind is not just driven by dreams, it's governed by discipline. Discipline is not about rules, it's about respecting your own future. It's waking up before the sun, not because you have to, but because greatness doesn't sleep in. It's saying no 1,000 times so you can say yes to what truly matters. It's trading comfort for growth, distraction for focus, convenience for commitment. Look at any self-made millionaire, and you'll find a warrior behind the wealth. Someone who showed up when no one clapped. Someone who trained when no one watched. Someone who sacrificed what felt good in the moment for what felt right in the long run. That's the heartbeat of success. Sacrifice with purpose. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize transportation by doing what everyone else did. He saw time differently. While others used time to survive, he used it to systemize, to multiply. His wealth was not just money, it was the ability to turn minutes into momentum. And that's what you must do. Every day, every hour, every small decision matters. When your thoughts are aligned and your vision is sharp, discipline becomes a form of devotion. You're not just grinding, you're worshiping your future with your effort. You begin to respect your mornings like sacred ground. You guard your energy like royalty. You no longer allow the trivial to interrupt the essential. Because you know now, what most people never learn, success isn't something you chase. It's something you become. And to become, you must do. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Faith without works is fantasy. Dreams without motion die in notebooks. The millionaire mind doesn't overthink. It acts. It experiments. It learns by doing, failing, adjusting, and evolving. When the Wright brothers built the airplane, they didn't wait until the math was perfect. They built, they tested, they fell out of the sky, and they flew because they kept acting while others kept doubting. Millionaires understand this. You don't need the full staircase to take the first step. You move with what you have, right now. You build with what you know, today. Because momentum loves movement, and fortune favors the bold. But boldness without gratitude becomes arrogance, and arrogance is the enemy of growth. That's why true millionaires cultivate gratitude, not when they've made it, but as the fuel that drives their rise. Gratitude is not weakness. It's a power amplifier. Because when you're grateful, your energy multiplies. Your perspective sharpens. You begin to see opportunity where others see obstacles. You stop resenting what you lack and start respecting what you have. Gratitude turns every setback into a setup, every delay into a lesson, every closed door into a redirection. When you say thank you, not just as words, but as a vibration, you open the gates of abundance. You begin to attract more, not because the world changed, but because you did. So never let the hunger for more drown out the honor for what already is. Millionaire minds are not just full of goals, they are full of grace. They understand that being rich is not a destination, it's a frequency, and gratitude tunes you into it. Now combine that frequency with adaptability, and you become unshakable. Because here's the truth. Life will test you. There will be storms, delays, disappointments. Markets will crash. Deals will fall through. People you trusted will leave. Plans you mapped out in perfect detail will unravel before your eyes. And this is where most people break. But not the millionaire mind. Because millionaires are fluid. They don't panic. They pivot. They don't freeze. They flow. They treat adversity like an investment, because they know every trial holds treasure. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs was removed from the company he started, and they still built empires, because they were not married to the path, they were married to the purpose. That's what you must embody. When things fall apart, don't retreat. Recalibrate. Find a new way. Invent a new method. But never surrender the mission. Because here's what separates winners from watchers. Winners bend, but they never break. They bleed, but they don't stop. They adapt, but they never abandon. And in every reinvention, they come back sharper, stronger, wiser, richer, not just in wealth, but in wisdom. Because that's the ultimate mindset. Millionaires are not defined by the numbers in their account. They are defined by the depth of their character, the clarity of their vision, the consistency of their discipline, the richness of their gratitude, and the resilience of their soul. So if you're still asking, how do I think like a millionaire before I become one? The answer is not found in a textbook or a bank balance. It's in the decisions you make when no one is watching. It's in how you speak to yourself when things fall apart. It's in the way you rise after falling flat on your face, not once, but 100 times. Millionaire thinking isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about becoming fully what you already are, without apology, without excuse. It's about waking up every day with fire in your belly and thunder in your voice, not because the world handed you the crown, but because you decided to wear it before they noticed. It's building when the results don't show. It's investing when no one claps. It's sacrificing comfort for greatness. It's believing in the unseen and backing it with unreasonable action, because that's what faith looks like, movement without proof. You don't need external validation when your identity is rooted in vision. Vision is what lets a broke man stand in an empty room and still feel rich. Vision is what kept Nelson Mandela dreaming in a prison cell. Vision is what made Martin Luther King Jr. declare, "I have a dream, not I have a plan," because the dream is always stronger than the blueprint. You've been given a dream for a reason, not to entertain it, not to doubt it, but to build it, relentlessly. This world wasn't built by the content, the comfortable, the quiet. It was built by the delusional, the ones who saw skyscrapers in mud, fortunes in failures, and destinies inside the debris. And if you feel like you've been buried, if your life looks like silence, like darkness, like nothing's moving, good, because seeds grow underground. Champions are forged in the shadows. What you call delay might just be divine development. What you call setback might just be spiritual preparation. But it only works if you keep moving. Every step you take, every habit you upgrade, every voice you silence that says you can't, is proof that you're already thinking like a millionaire. Because you're choosing belief over doubt, discipline over ease, vision over distraction. You're choosing to become rich in soul before you become rich in status. And that is the only wealth that cannot be taken. So build the mind before the mansion. Build the character before the company. Build the mission before the money. Because money doesn't make you powerful. You do. And when your thinking rises, when your habits evolve, when your standards elevate, when your daily actions scream, "I already am," then the world will have no choice but to follow. You'll walk into rooms and change the temperature. You'll speak, and people will feel conviction, not noise. You'll build a legacy, not just a living, because you weren't waiting to become wealthy. You were already thinking like it, and that is what changes everything. So now you know, it's not the suit, not the car, not the corner office, not the applause. It's the mind behind the mission. It's how you think when nobody's watching. It's what you choose to believe about yourself when the world goes silent. You are not waiting to become a millionaire. You are training to think like one. You are forging the mind that makes millions inevitable, not because of who you know, but because of who you decided to become. And if that decision is real, if it's burning in your bones, then don't wait. Don't negotiate with fear. Don't seek permission from small minds. This is your moment. The world is watching, but more importantly, you are watching. And one day, very soon, you'll look back and realize the money came after. The success came after. The life you dreamed of came after you stopped thinking like the old you and started thinking like the legend you were born to be. So rise now, walk like it, think like it, speak like it, live like it. Because the only thing standing between who you are and who you're meant to be is one radical decision to believe before the evidence shows up. Make that decision now and never, ever think small again.